I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, February the 6th, brought to you in part by Fairpiece, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven. I talked to Dr. Rodrigo there at the CattleCon on Wednesday, and he was very excited about the new study that he got results from about cattle on feed. Said a lot of people are getting excited about that. And it's not just for bull and calves, it's for anything. Anytime cattle are stressed, including good quality yearlings going on feed. And he did a test on those, and it turned out that he ended up with an extra $51.20, including the extra weight there, for a $6 investment. $3 whenever they processed them when they got there, and then another $3 giving them Fairpiece when they were re-implanted. And that's a no-brainer, guys. Also including in that is better marbling if you're going to hang them on the rail. But for more information, go to fairpiece.com. Technical resistance bounce. We needed that. I mean, we felt like we was in a free fall here just this week, as we fell hard, especially on the feeder cattle on Monday, and then down hard again on Tuesday. But you know, we thought, whoa, this is it, we're going down again. But we did have a technical resistance bounce, as we saw that on April feeder cattle near 267, and we thought, oh my God, if it broke through that, we were just going to go down without a parachute. But we did see the bounce on there, and the board came back on Wednesday, and so now we're feeling better about this. We know that we're going down, but if we can get a few bounces in there and kind of ride it down a little bit, it'll be so much better. But the technicals absolutely rule, guys. You know, I'm a fundamental guy, and I talk about you know, the numbers and the demand and all this kind of thing. But if everybody that's involved, especially with the board, or absolutely with the board, if they're looking at the squiggly lines on the graphs, and all of them are reacting the same to those lines on the graph, then that's going to rule. And so we did have a technical resistance bounce there on Wednesday. It come back up a little bit, and it was fantastic. I mean, everybody was relieved that we finally saw a higher bounce on the board on Wednesday, even though it just been 2 days of big down. But we fell last week too. But despite the lighter numbers, I mean, the smallest number of cows in 73 years, and then we got more confirmation on that with the latest inventory report that come out at the end of January. We just felt like we had nothing to bargain with. I mean, we were just in a free fall. But even though the board is heavily on the longs on the managed money, and of course they can write it down at any point, if we can get a bounce in here a time or two and kind of and ride this thing out, it's going to be so much better. I know you guys need to continue to stay covered here, or you know, get yourself some protection here on the bottom side. But we are just so fundamentally low on all numbers of cattle. We're still tight on fat cattle, and your packers are still short bought. They still wanting cattle. Come in on Wednesday buying cattle in the fat cattle auctions. Some of the fat cattle auctions that I heard of on Wednesday, the cattle were going out of the ring onto the truck to the plant. But you guys got to use that leverage, and if we don't have anybody that's using that leverage when you're selling your fat cattle, they will continue to go lower. But if everybody else is selling lower, then you got nothing to stand on. But you know, we're tight on our slaughter cows and bulls. They've been up for the last 2 weeks. Top quality or top yielding slaughter cows selling over $1.40 now. And if you haven't watched your slaughter bulls, they are inching back higher, getting close to $2 a pound again. So, you know, big demand for slaughter bulls. But our feeder cattle buyers in our auctions, they were relieved to see that board come up on Wednesday, and some of them in the northern plains, they got right back with it like nothing ever happened. And we saw another all-time record high posted in the northern plains. the Midwest, but closer to the northern plains there. But still, a lot of your sales in the lower part of the country were still selling lower, and the market's lower. It just has been all week. But let's talk about your board on Wednesday. February live cattle were up 172 at 203.60. April up 265 at 201.30. Still below your February, and April is normally always your highest fat cattle month, but haven't been this year. And then your back month selling up 222 to up 267, so big gains on the live cattle futures. March feeder cattle were up 247 at 270 and a quarter. April up 285, and April is a big month for feeder cattle here, and then that kind of spawned the technicals that bounced everything back up. But April feeder cattle is settling at 270.47 on Wednesday. Then your back month's up $3 to 302, so that's good gains there. But your grains have loved everything that's been going on, the uncertainty, the tariffs, the border, everything that's been going on. Your grains have thrived through that, but on a day where your cattle corrected, your grains went down a little bit, but not big. Corn down 1 1/4 cents a bushel for March at 4.93 1/4. Beans down 18, that was significant, at 10.57. Hard red winter wheat for March down 3 cents a bushel at 5.91 3/4. Your fat cattle trade, we did see some fat cattle trade start on Wednesday. And your packers are short bought, or they wouldn't come in and start buying cattle on Wednesday, but they were buying them lower, so you can't blame them for that. Iowa sold fat cattle 1,150 head, direct trade there, 1,650 head for the week so far, which is not very much at all, but just getting going from 207 to 209. That's $1 to $3 lower than last week's market, and the dress trade at 328, which is $2 lower. Nebraska sold 3,600 on Wednesday, 5,000 so far for the week. The live market in Nebraska was 208, which is $2 lower than the 210 we saw last week. And your dress trade at 328, they did have a few up to 328.50. Had a little bit of trade in the southern plains, with Kansas selling 1,200 head at 205 to 206. And that's going to be a bit lower there, maybe $2 to $3 lower, but not a lot of trade there yet. And Texas did not trade a hoof on Wednesday. Did see a fat cattle auction in Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota. Had a little over 1,200 head of fat cattle, including all classes. Conventional fed cattle sold fully steady from 208 to 214.50. Program cattle, your non-implanted or drug-free cattle, selling from 207 to 216.75, and that is very significant price there. Box beef cutout values fell hard on Wednesday, and that does not help bode for a higher cattle market. But choice cuts were down 539 at 325.34 on Wednesday afternoon. Selects were down 308 at 314.33. Hard fall for your box beef cutout values. Your slaughter continues to fall lower, and we're looking for a disappointing slaughter this week, but up through the first 3 days of the week, estimated cattle slaughter through federal inspection, 358,000. That's 4,000 less than this point last week, 17,000 less than the same point a year ago. Talk about a sale that's coming up here pretty quick. How about J&N production sale? It's black Herefords, guys. Have you heard about black Herefords? They're not black Baldies. They're black Herefords there, guys. They've got 700 or 600 active members in the Black Hereford Association, guys. And it looks like an association that may be coming on strong. But coming up this Saturday, February the 8th, they got the 41st annual production sale at J&N. EPDs by IGS evaluation there, and they're concentrating on low birth weight, calving ease, Hereford docility, which is awful good, black hided, free delivery. It's going to be on DVAuction coming up this Saturday, February the 8th at the J&N Black Hereford production sale. Check them out, guys. Talk about what else is going on. Charolais, it's coming up, a production sale season. If you're looking to add more pounds, and everybody wants more pounds, bigger carcasses don't matter, heavier cattle don't matter, they're going to continue to pay for it. But with Charolais, pounds matter and pay weight counts. Add pounds and carcass weight with industry acceptance, and that's a big one. Some of these breeds that give you bigger weights are not industry accepted, but Charolais absolutely are, especially in crossbreeding, guys. For more information, go to charolaiusa.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states. Late in the day on Wednesday, sitting at 278.38, fell pretty hard, down 130 on your 7-day moving average on your real-time index, guys. And your markets are just lower, and you accumulate those up and it goes lower yet. But your latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 279.03. Talk about some big sales that happened on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma sold 8,600 head for their 2-day sale with the calves on Tuesday, feeders on Wednesday. Feeder steers sold $6 to $14 lower. Feeder heifers were $5 to $10 lower. Steer calves on Tuesday, $2 to $4 lower, but the heifer calves were steady to firm. But we're just on a lower market, guys, and this market's going to fluctuate, and we probably have hit our tops, but hopefully we don't fall completely out of bed. We will kind of ride our way down here. But another sale, Hub City Livestock in Aberdeen, South Dakota, sold 6,400 head. Feeder steers there, $5 to $10 lower. Feeder heifers were steady to $12 lower, but they still had some stick-out sales, especially on some big steers. At Hub City in Aberdeen, they sold 67 steers, weighed 905 at $279.50. That doesn't sound too awful bad. Had a good sale on Bassett Livestock Auction in Bassett, Nebraska, 2,900 head there. And the buyers were aggressive there. The market was unevenly steady. They've got the top quote coming up at the end of the report, like I always give it. But pretty decent sale in Bassett, Nebraska. Individual quotes. How about Platt Livestock in Platt, South Dakota? They sell 66 steers, weigh 873 at $289.50. Now that is a foot higher than your index levels there, but guys are still wanting them up there, especially the farmer feeders in the northern plains. How about Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota? They sell 109 steers, weigh 799, right up close to 800 pounds at $286.50. Give you a market out east, and they're not too awful bad either, guys. Bluegrass Stockyards at Albany, Kentucky, sells 69 steers, weigh 771 at $279.80. And on those short-haired cattle there that are going to feed in the Midwest, that's a pretty impressive quote, guys. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, indeed come out of Bassett Livestock Auction in Bassett, Nebraska. It was a big string of fancy calves. 226 steer calves weigh 525 and bring 412, and that is an all-time record on that weight, guys, as the market's coming down. But that's your feeder flash for Thursday.